Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
I am in the city of Warrensville Heights, and I'm asking the question. Actually, I'm going to make a statement. It sounds like you're saying we are our brother's keepers. We are here all together for a purpose. And so my concern is, and my suggestion is, you come back to us again with more information. I see your outline, but as you said, you're working with the auditors, and that needs to be heard, what's going to happen next. I believe you have the ears and the heart of everyone.
Thank you.
But we need more.
And we do have a website here, www.revenuestudy.com or org, whichever one you want to use, and there's lots of information on it. But we will be back. There's no doubt about that, and I thank you for your comment. There was a question over here.
Hi, Brian Cummins with Cleveland City Council. I guess one of the questions, I see the milestones include with a colon, and I don't know if you've got more to show or if that's what the next phase is. But I guess one of the things, you can respond a little bit in terms of what we can do next. Clearly, we're part of the communications. I'm really struck by the graph relative to land utilization and versus economic growth, or whatever those two.
Population.
Population. But you could probably put economic growth there to be similar, maybe a little different area percentage-wise. And I think that's where the education in the communications needs to go forth, in the sense that if we don't do something different, the cost of our infrastructure regionally, in the cost that we end up paying in the lack of being competitive because of that infrastructure and that sprawl and that bifurcation of population and jobs, et cetera, that's what needs to be explained to our various communities, and that's what our local councils, I think, could be very good at. I mean, we're the front lines within our cities in terms of explaining, I guess, the importance of particularly that graph. Yeah. I guess another comment to make, though, I guess, another question would be, previously, I'll give an example of the regional sewer district. It was something that was actually imposed on us because of accusations of mismanagement and other inefficiencies in individual sewer districts and that. So we have a regional sewer district. There's been talk for a couple of years of trying to take the Cuyahoga solid waste district, for example, and to try to regionalize that. So I like the ideas in terms of looking to the state for redistricting or recognizing the 16-county area. But it's also, we don't have to wait for something to screw up to create a regionalized system, whatever it may be. And I guess the question to you is, whenever I think about rolling out a project, be it a pilot project or just trying to get something done from a study or plan, I think of the action plan and I think of short-term, medium-term, and long-term goals and milestones that you're going to be getting into in phase 2. Not to try to get too much of a preview, but what can you say about that, I guess? Are you looking at categorizing issues? You talked about land use planning and revenue sharing is the premier kind of silos or issues that you want to deal with. But how can you give us a little bit of a preview of how we might be going forward then, in terms of trying to break off and actually work on, if we don't have short-term victories and gains that we can communicate back, then we surely won't get to the midterm in some of the other more important things. So what might be some of the short-term or even medium-term goals that you might be trying to deal with in the phase 2?
Sure. Right now, you are officially part of the planning process for this, okay? We all are. This is the beginning of phase 2. Phase 1 was approximately 9 months worth of study to identify specifically what the major hurdles were for us to develop a comprehensive, collaborative, sustainable, nonpartisan regional economic development program based upon land use planning, infrastructure planning, and new growth revenue sharing. With that, We then received virtually unanimous from our advisories committee, which was representative of 35 people from every county and about every discipline, unanimous to accept phase 1's information and now move into phase 2 with hammering out the details, and virtually unanimous, save one vote. And actually, we were looking for somebody not to vote, because if you vote too many times unanimously, it sounds like nobody's listening. Okay, and that's our democratic way anyway. So we appreciate it. Virtually unanimous. Now, what are some of the short-term goals? Right now, our goal is to have by the summer of next year, the details hammered out of a plan that we will then share with the rest with everyone in Northeastern Ohio. And as we do that, we'll be communicating all of those issues so that we can collectively approve it, okay, and put it into place. So that's the real short term. This is an action plan. This is not a study anymore. This is an action plan, and I like very much what you said. Stop talking, and that's what we're going to do, because we've talked about this through the decade of the 90s. We've talked about this for the first 5 years of the millennium, and this is an action plan, and we're all part of it. The next hurdle then, once we put it into place, is to bring our MPOs together, and that's hugely important. And we're starting off with a phase-in. I said before, this is not a hockey stop, and bringing them together and collaborating. And you know what? They're dying to do this. If you talk to their directors, they've been dreaming about doing this. Okay, and talking to our sewer areas, sewer departments, and more collaboration there amongst them, so we can minimize the expense of unnecessary infrastructure and bring the infrastructure that we currently have up to a higher level, and draw in those companies and inspire people, the entrepreneurs that we have in Northeastern Ohio, to do that. So that's the next step. The vision is that in 20 years, we're going to have such a robust economy here in Northeastern Ohio that our jobless rate will be near nothing, only for those who are going between jobs, that every culture, every community, and every individual will benefit from in some way. Sometimes it's more than others, and in a different time, a little bit less than others. But we'll benefit from, everybody will benefit from, and it will truly be a model to the rest of the world. Now, I know that sounds, wonderful, can it be done? You know what? It is being done. It is being done. It's being done in other places around the world. And you want to look about the biggest collaboration and the most difficult one? Look at the European Common Market. History, wars, religion, language, monetary system, and I'm telling you, they are competing with the rest of the world, and they're doing quite well. So, and we can do the same even better because we know each other. Okay, anything else?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.